Welcome back to Conversations of a Different Kind. This is part two of an interview and a conversation that I had with Brenda Williams, and we were discussing the sphenoid bone of the brain, in the brain, and how that relates to our consciousness as well as to our physical well being. We spurred off from that conversation into a conversation that was about living authentically without fear, trusting your intuition, and how the divine feminine plays a role in that, the feminine principle. Learn more about that in this interview that is already in
The
progress.
pineal is the seventh dimension in metaphysics. The seventh wave in Kalaman's work is where we began to become, we broke all the bonds, and we went into what they call what is it when you lose your religion? Anyway, we just threw everything away because we've been through the masculine. It didn't work. So we're just going to we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater, the wash bag, and the soap. So that was in the seventh wave. I'm a 7. The project was 777.
Mm-hmm.
7 is a holy number. So everything bridged to saying we now moved into the 8th wave of Kalaman's work. And guess what? It was the feminine coming back. We didn't lose our restrictions and limitations, and we didn't go back to our intuitive, inquisitive, childlike freedom. We used what we knew and what we had been told and what we had been taught and what we had conditioned to believe. So while we were in that movement that was very definitely feminine, it was not the feminine of the beginning. We moved then into this 9th wave and said, wait a minute, it's now time, because we are complete. What is the feminine? Is it just about women? Absolutely not. Is it just about men having access to their feminine aspect in their body? No. It's about the two individual recognizing, appreciating, giving what word's gone, honoring,
Respecting, honoring.
We each have specific work. The feminine has the work of calming, and we're still, as a collective, fighting the battle. I don't have anything to fight anymore. If you want to break the bonds, the first thing you do is realize there is no fight.
Right.
There is no fight. Because if I go out punching or blaming or accusing, I'm outside of my 18 inches, which embodies my entire balance of divine essence. And I can communicate it that way. But if I come out blaming, accusing, or pointing fingers, then I have stepped out of my role that I possess in a feminine body. Same for the men. They are the protectors. They've come here to honor us, to create a platform for us to do our work. Back in the day, way long time ago, the grandmothers, that was holy word. And the tribe circled around her. But she knew what she was doing. She wasn't trying to do somebody else's job, which is kind of what we do. So know why you're here.
Yeah. And the grandmother wasn't serving her own agenda either. She was the vessel through which divine love and information was shared.
So my question at the end of that conversation was, okay, am I supposed to just sit, on a soft pillow? And
do nothing.
How do I live my life? I've spent 77 years, 13 7-year cycles playing this game. How do I take this last cycle and enjoy my life?
Yes.
And communicate with people in their diversity without having to feel obligated, responsible, all of those words, those are the bonds we put around ourselves, self-imposed. Self-imposed, almost always, because there's always a choice. There's a choice whether we do it, and there's a choice how we do it. What keeps us, my question, what keeps us from feeling the truth of that? What keeps us from being willing to take the step to assure that that is how we navigate our existence? And I think that's something everybody has to step into themselves. I can see moments. I can see moments when it's like, oh, I caught that one. I know I saw myself enabling someone else, or feeling obligated, or feeling responsible, and I felt the kickback in my body that said, that's not the truth. But I went ahead anyway.
Well,
went ahead and did it anyway.
It's so ingrained in us to caretake and to protect even our children from having experiences and exploring. And I know that there is a protective role in being a parent, but do we go overboard with fear and not letting them explore? And is that possibly why we continue to look to somebody else for our safety, for our instruction, for our beliefs, for how we navigate life?
There is literally, back to the physiology, back to the biology, there is literally a place and a knowing. We cannot feel safe in our bodies from here up. Safety is an inside hormonal experience, because how the information is routed through this little notch in the back of our skull, what we call the reptilian brain, the old fight or flight or freeze, is linked to the limbic system, remember? That's where our emotions right away, we try to, oh my goodness, I used to watch my little grandson, tiny little thing, on his skateboard going up a ramp that he had built where we couldn't see it. And I would see him sailing, and I would go, oh gosh, he's going to break a bone. He didn't. But if I had my way, he would not have been doing, he would not have been doing that. He had no fear. He was fearless. We took that away from him because he might have broken a bone. Might have broken a bone. Might have been a reason for it. You know, was he not being careful? Was he not paying attention? So yes, our own fears are housed in our memory of our own personal experience, and it clouds and conveys information to everything that is around us, every experience, every engagement that we have. How do we feel safe inside? Once again, the science shows that sympathetic parasympathetic balance gives you that moment. It's the pause.
Yeah.
So the minute I would feel that now, I would just take that pause and go, you know, I'm not in charge of what his life experience is to be. And while I might want to protect him, I might protect him today, but 3 days from now, I might not be there. He's still going to have the experiences that he's here to have. So the safety part is a physiological reset that we each have the ability to do. So when you're getting ready to take a giant leap into the unknown, wouldn't it make sense to take that pause before you start?
Absolutely. I've been practicing that. I was raised by a mom and a grandma that were very, very fearful. They didn't want us out of sight, basically. If they couldn't see us, then we were in danger. We couldn't ride our bikes. You know, just even being 14 and 15 years old, I was still being babysat by my grandmother.
Yeah.
So when I found these walking trails the other day, and I was just ecstatic and moving through and singing light language and speaking light language and going, oh, look at that little bug. And I was just in my little joy. I came back later and told my mom I'd been there. And the first thing was, oh, you need to be careful in those woods. There could be somebody hiding, all the what ifs. Oh my goodness. My joy bubble is like, wait a minute. That's not my truth. I had that reaction within me. It's like, that is not my truth. I was in a vibration that nothing could harm
Nothing
me,
could have gotten anywhere
could
near
have gotten
you.
to me. I was probably invisible to anything that was of a lower vibration. And if they did, so what? You have to get past the fear of dying even. Because if I'm taken out of this body, then there's something better.
Yeah. Where's your next first step? And I think that's the truth. One of the things back in the day, I remember people would just go panic because I would leave the house, throw the things in the car, leave the house in the middle of the night, and drive to California for North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I would drive all night long. Sometimes going to Florida was always a one day trip. I'd drive straight through the night and get there in the morning, or stop at the rest stops or whatever. I had no fear. However, I used common sense. And I would pull into the rest stops. The ones on I-95 are great. Some of them on I-40 are great. They have somebody there. But on 95 back in the day, they always had somebody there sitting in a car. And they got to know me because it was a frequent trip. I just pull in right there. I'd, go, hi, I'm here. And they'd be like, thumbs up, go ahead. And I'd just rest for a while and get back on the road and go. What I understood, though, was the difference in how people perceive that was going to Tennessee, actually, during the night, traveling all night, I needed gas, and I pulled into a service station. Well, I was really known about pulling up one ramp, taking a look, and pulling down the next one and going a little further down the road. Mm-hmm. But there were some guys standing beside the gas pump, 3 of them. I didn't stop to get gas there. Right. Now, that doesn't mean those guys were going to harm me, but there was something that just didn't feel right. Mm-hmm. And so I just kept on driving and pulled into the next service station and got my gas. Mm-hmm. I think that we have that ability innately to understand and to listen to those signals, when to go and when not to go. Mm-hmm. And the more we practice that, the more we allow that, the less we even perceive that possibility would happen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We have a park right down on the Yadkin River, and what they did was and it used to be a place a lot of homeless slept under the river. A lot of fishermen go under there at night, all kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But they'd made this beautiful park. And so I went there the other day, and of course you go down a whole lot of steps and you walk through through the trails and everything. It's beautifully done. But the first thing when I made a comment, I had gone there, oh, you shouldn't go there. Mm. Again, same, you shouldn't go there. Mm-hmm. Well, I went there on a day when the guys that were doing the prettying up of the flower beds and everything were there. Mm-hmm. I spoke to them when I went in. Nobody else was there but me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I came back out. We had a little conversation. I got in my car and I came home. But like you, oh my gosh, the freedom. Oh, it was beautiful. It was like, wow, I finally found a place that I could just go and be present mm-hmm. there.
And be with nature. Mm-hmm.
And be with this huge, raging river. Mm-hmm. Be with the water. Mm-hmm. And it's a real big river. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we immediately get that little hiccup when somebody says that, and it shuts us down. I'm not.
It gives us the message that we have the opportunity to shut down, yeah, or reclaim our truth and keep going. What you were talking about, this 8th wave of the feminine and the intuitive, the innocent, the childlike, all of this is the divine feminine, following those hunches, trusting your intuition, just like if you get off there and you have a ooh kind of feeling like, not for me, keep going. That's your safety. Your safety was in your intuitive field that you were listening to. The safety is in not listening to it. I mean, the fear and the danger is in not listening to it, not following it.
And take it back to animals. You know, the reason we're in a skin suit are those multiple skin receptors on our skin that we don't touch and we don't allow to be active, and we cover up, and we, you know, all those reasons. Why do the elephants know long before the tsunami hits to get to higher ground?
Instinct, intuition.
It's they feel that movement miles and miles and miles away. Well, we may not be as sensitive as the elephants in that, because we don't need to be, but we certainly can tell when we're in if I can see you, I know whether you're a danger to me.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't see you, and that was part in my first back in the 90s when I was sitting on my deck and learning about movement, I could feel when someone came into the field from the back, because it pushed against me from the back, but I didn't understand it then. I didn't know what was happening. I just turn around and go, oh, somebody's walking up from the behind.
Physically or just energetically, you can feel when.
Either way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when empaths first started opening up, I mean, we've always been empathic, but when there was like a wave of energy that brought us to the point where people started feeling and feeling energy, it scared them. It was so different, and they didn't know how to manage energy. Here is something that's foreign to me. How do I deal with it? And my book on empaths, Whose Stuff Is This, has been a guide for many people who were opening to those intuitive hunches and empathic hits they were getting. Now we're learning how to navigate. The whole world's opening up to that now. We're all feeling things that we weren't accustomed to feeling. You said before that you aren't as affected by the energy that are moving. I have found that to be true within the last year, especially, that I'm not affected as much by what's happening around me outside there. I'm not as affected by eclipses, moon phases, all of these 10/10s and 20 numbers. It's like, no, I am really stable in my field. And even when I walk out there into the chaos, like, you know, going home to visit with family, and oh, all these old patterns, wow, they still exist. Ooh, get back in my center, girl. You know, I'm so thankful I have the tools.
It's again how to navigate all of these 9 waves that are like this, with each one of them having a different, I'll use the word behavior. We behaved in our evolution, we behave differently in each one of Kalaman's waves. And when we begin to understand just 2 or 3 phrases, you know, if you just take the sixth wave, it's masculine domination. Well, that can be, you know, covered up in a whole lot of words, you know. But you can recognize the minute you're being contained by your own self. Doesn't have to be masculine. How are you limiting yourself? It's still, well, you're riding on that wave, Bridget. You know, when you were talking just a few minutes ago, I had this little chuckle of getting ready to ask you, because one thing I hope people understand is that what we have been doing is bridging between each one of our purposes for being here. And what came in all of this, because you were very, you know, focused in right language, all of a sudden now you have built a bridge to give a holistic concept to that. You feeling a new book coming?
I'll have to check in.
And what I'm wondering is what that new book might look like if you have that new book, kind of like what's been kind of jumping at me. I keep putting up these little blurbs on the website about stories, and some of them I'm starting to tell, and some of them I'm not. And it's like, no, this isn't quite yet about my journey that's very detailed. This is about what have I learned? What was that experience like? How is it different now? And it makes it very easy. It's very easy. And I think they're going to be videos. I think they're going to just be little video blurbs that come out and it's a video, more of a video book, because I think what's important now is for the cadence of our experience to be given form.
Yes, yes. And I was feeling, even as we were talking, that there was a light language transmission that wanted to come through to help just synchronize and bridge all of this and help everybody to get back into their field. But I was wondering, how do you feel about just leading us in a quick reset breath and quiet touch, and then let me add the light language and just kind of bring that together? Yeah,
I think that sounds like fun.
let's do it.
Okay. First of all, just get comfortable wherever you are in your, and remember the drill. I will say ready, begin, exhale. The process is exhale, inhale, exhale. Those are the mechanics. We'll also do it with the hand position. So you will take your left hand and place it anywhere on your chest, noticing the energy as it comes, as the hand comes into your body, and actually feeling the presence of that hand on your chest. The right hand down at the lower abdomen, little, sort of rests on the pubic bone. Your thumb may just gently drop into your belly button, and actually feel the presence of that hand. What does it feel like? Because what you're doing is connecting the physiology, your biology, internal system. So now we're going to ready, begin, exhale through the mouth.
Iros Caravahino, Morato Coravali Sala Oratokush Kale, Ulata Karata, Ale Sola Kundo Kulai, Irotaka, Ulea Solava, Ishkanai, Telo, Wale Utaki, Ala Satovole, Otokunde Cora, Emora Vakilo, Amasalaka, Sulivio Noko. Cielo. Malokor makahishanana terokol makule etiviki. And just feeling the connection from the reset breath and quiet touch. Feeling the energy of the transmission of light language working through your body. The vector wave activated, doing its work, finding any anomalies and aligning those and bringing them back into that innocent state of well-being, the intuitive state of knowing, which automatically activates our trust in universal source, love, light, provision for us.
And if you will, take your right hand now, place it over your left, and it's palm to palm. One palm to the chest, the other palm to the back of the hand. So what you're doing is now amplifying and closing the loop. You're self-contained. Everything that has transpired now will be there for you to pause, to re-experience, and to notice when you're not there, how quickly you can move back. And you just watched Yvonne bridge between what we said and her light language, using her hands. Remember in the early days, I used to talk, and I would talk like this all the time. Yeah. Same. We don't use our bodies to help communicate what we're saying. And what you had an opportunity to see was the complete bridge. And I don't know if you would go back and translate that for yourselves, my guess is you knew exactly what she was saying,
Mhm.
and you could bridge it with exactly what we've been talking about. That's communicating.
Mhm.
That's conversations of a different kind. So
Mhm.
once again, Yvonne,
Beautiful.
thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. And it's very telepathic, and that's why it resonates differently and speaks differently to one person than it does to another. If another person was having an emotional crisis, this would help to calm them down so that they could have a better perspective with which to make the next step decision. If that person was in a place of needing physical healing, that light language would have come through with the codes for nurturing that area of the body, and also any causes linked to that, any spiritual or wounding or past stuff that you're still carrying around with you. It would help to heal that, so that it's not just, oh, I feel better now. It's a permanent
No.
shift.
Yes. It allows that because you're working in that 18-inch tube, and there's no um, um, interference. The body is not resisting because the body understands what is being asked of it.
Mm.
When we just say, oh, I want you to feel better, it goes, duh.
Huh?
But when all of these systems, the ancient and the new, begin to work together, then what happens is we understand in a holistic way that this form is here for purpose, and it knows exactly what to do. And if you fall off the bus, you just wait, another one will be along pretty soon. Jump on, go again.
Yeah, no condemnation, no
No,
guilt,
no
no
judgment,
shame.
no blame.
Just do another reset and let's keep going.
Keep going, keep going.
I
So
love
that's the
it.
fun of what this is. You see, this is fun. This is no longer obligatory. It is no longer full of shoulds.
I like that.
We didn't know coming in what this was going to do.
Mm.
I can't wait to hear it. I have no
Yeah,
idea what we said
yeah.
because it was so relaxed,
hmm
so relaxed. We
I
can
love
have
it.
all of our communications like this with one another
hmm
if we just are willing.
hmm
We just happen to be willing because we like to play together.
We do. I like to play in general. I had a wonderful weekend at my mom and dad's house, which, it carries a different vibration. That's all I'll say about that. But I had my daughter and my grandson with me, and we had such a good time playing with these toys that my kids played with when they were little. They're still
When
at my
we were
mom,
little.
and just had a blast with him. Just the freedom and the innocence and the creativity and the imagination and expressing sounds and ideas that came to us. We were creating through play,
Mm-hmm.
and it felt so good. I love that.
I do too, and it comes out in our conversations, and it comes out in our behavior, and it comes out in our words, and it comes out in the fact that we carry this quiet peacefulness, and yet we can be as rowdy as we want to be. It's
Mhm.
not about just humming, It's about let's take some action.
Mhm.
Let's act. Let's move. Let's
Have fun.
let's let's experience. Let's experience.
Be curious. Stay curious, my friend.
Be curious, yes. So once again, thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. I really appreciate all of the times that we get to spend together, and being able to share that through a recording and video like this is very, very precious to me, to be able to share that with other people, both your network and mine, and even those who Spirit calls to us that never even heard of us. That's okay too.
And that is happening, by the way.
Yay! Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah,
I
that is
honor that.
happening.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
very good. So I guess this is it, unless you have something else. I'm
I'm
fine.
good. It feels complete to me. Thank you so much. Bless you.
Thank you.
And
Love you too.
bless all of you. Thank you so much for being with us here today and for sharing our love and your love with us. Namaste.